I will now call the March 17, 2014 Blue Springs City Council meeting to order. If you would stand with me, observe a moment of silence, and I will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I want to welcome you in attendance, as well as those that might be watching on Cable TV 7, to tonight's City Council meeting. And we'll talk a little bit more about that near the end. The next item is the consent agenda. Are there items that need to be pulled? If not, I would accept a motion for approval.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Quibell.
Aye.
Councilman Levesey.
Aye.
Councilman Fowler.
Aye.
Councilman Carter.
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson.
Aye.
Councilman Culpepper. Aye.
Next, we have a public hearing on the rezoning of Blue Springs Commercial Lot Number 2.
Your Honor, for public hearing, RZ 2-14-4298, I'd like to introduce one exhibit, which includes a City Council information form with attachment, staff report with attachments, affidavit of publication is advertised in Blue Springs Examiner, February 22, 2014. Application with attachments, 185-foot notification map, names, addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site, and copy of letters sent to property owners. These are all the exhibits I have to offer on behalf of the city.
Okay, Mr. Holly, on behalf of the city.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council.
That's better. Again, before you tonight is a request for approval to rezone property located on Northwest South Outer Road. It is located east of Northwest 22nd Street. West of Northwest 22nd Street and east of Woods Chapel Road. It's a property formerly known as the American Fitness Club. The request is to rezone this property from GB General Business to RC Regional Commercial. As you may recall, in January of this year, the City Council passed an ordinance amendment that distinguished indoor shooting ranges from outdoor shooting ranges, and it allowed indoor shooting ranges in the regional commercial, the light industrial, and the heavy industrial zone. Since this particular property is currently zoned general business, and the proposal is to put an indoor shooting range in, the applicant is requesting a change to regional commercial. The regional commercial is a good fit for South Outer Road. We have a lot of properties currently zoned regional commercial along there. And included with that in the regional commercial, there is a 1 acre minimum, and this lot meets that requirement. Planning Commission heard this last Monday and recommended unanimous approval with a 7-0 vote. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
If there are any questions, Mr. Holly, by the council?
Your Honor, I
Yes.
just have one question. I wanted to verify that this will not have any effect on those families that abut that property on the backside.
Yeah, I'll let the applicant address that. There's been some concern about noise and how that will impact those families. And I'll let the applicant address that. He's certainly concerned and cognizant of that fact and is working through that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Holly.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Nigro, would you like to come and speak on, since you're the applicant, be sworn in?
I do. Thomas J. Nigro Jr. at 1200 Southwest Brook Court, Blue Springs, 64015.
Welcome.
I don't really have a presentation as far as anything further than what Mr. Holly has presented so far. Just getting the zoning in order to be able to proceed with this project, but pleased to answer any questions you might have.
Councilman Culpepper has a question.
Yes, I just want to make sure that we're not going to have any issues with the people with the property that abut it, the two-family housing that abuts that property.
From what we've found so far in doing the due diligence on this project is the construction of the building being all concrete block, and the fact that the ranges themselves will be on the lower level of the building, and the lower level of the building is on the backside particularly. The lay of the land is such that the backside of the building, the lower level is completely underground, and then the grade falls away so that some of the lower level is exposed on the front side. But in other buildings of this type of construction where ranges have been put in, actually the decibel level from the noise from the interstate is higher than what is generated from the range itself. But with the range, most of it being underground on the backside where the residences are closer, we don't anticipate any problem. Now, if there were to be a problem, there are ways to abate the noise, and I'm prepared to do that because my interest is in being a good neighbor.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, thank you for your testimony. I think this is probably something that's very much needed in this area.
I hope so. Thank you.
You bet. Is there anyone in the audience like to speak in support of? Anyone in the audience like to speak in support of? In opposition to? In opposition to? We'll close this public hearing. Would anyone like to introduce bill number 4309?
I'll introduce you, Your Honor.
Okay.
First reading of bill number 4309, an ordinance rezoning property from GB General Business to RC Regional Commercial.
Move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Second reading of bill number 4309, an ordinance rezoning property from GB General Business to RC Regional Commercial.
Move the bill be approved on its second reading and assign the appropriate ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Lexi.
Aye.
Councilman Fowler.
Aye.
Councilman Carter.
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson.
Aye.
Councilman Culpepper.
Aye.
Councilman Quabell.
Aye.
Carried unanimously, given ordinance number 4483.
Okay, Mr. McDonald, on the next one, we have a public hearing on vacation of Country Club. Do we need to open it and then continue it to the next meeting? Okay. Okay, we'll open a public hearing on vacation of Country Club South Lot 36A utility easement.
Your Honor, move we continue this to the April 7th, 2014 City Council meeting.
Okay, so there's a motion to continue to the 7th. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Is that all I need to do, Mr. McDonald? I'm referring to you. Is that it? That's it. Okay, very good. We don't do a whole lot of those like that, so that's why we rely on your expertise. Okay, next, Mr. Johnson, would you like to introduce our presenter?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Mr. Bob Charlesworth. Bob, go ahead and come on up here. We engaged with council approval Bob Charlesworth and his company in November of 2013 to review our employee health benefits program. We have been receiving our employee health benefits through Midwest Public Risk a long time ago. People may have known as Market since 1984. We thought it was time to test the private sector and to make certain that we were getting the best value for our dollars that we spend with MPR. So we engaged Bob Charlesworth to do an independent assessment of our employee benefits. He's completed his work and is prepared tonight to present to you his findings, and wanted to present that to you tonight. So, Bob, thank you for being here tonight.
You bet. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I thought I'd just summarize this real quick. I put together a brief summary for you already, but there's some important things to highlight, I think, along the way. We sent the RFP out after meeting with your senior management team. That way we had an idea of the kind of plans, programs that are really important to you all, as well as the employees here. Of course, it included health, dental, vision, and the Employee Assistant Program, EAP is what they go by. Issued the RFP on December 23rd, came back on February 4th. We sent the programs on a direct basis to the health insurance community. That way it included Midwest Public Risk, MPR, your current carrier, Blue Cross of Kansas City, Aetna/Coventry. Coventry was purchased by Aetna this last year. United Healthcare, probably the largest carrier in the country, as well as Cigna and Humana. And you can see the responses that we received back there. We included both Cigna and Humana, although MPR utilizes these two carriers already. And the city does utilize these two carriers already for your employees. About a third of your employees use Cigna, which is a PPO type, deductible type health plan. And then about 2/3 use the Humana, which is the kind of like an open panel HMO type program. And so that was the mix of the enrollment. We sent the RFP out asking for similar programs and some alternatives. One of the obstacles of MPR, let's be upfront with it, you don't get claims data. You're part of a group. That's not a bad thing, but it's also puts you in a difficult position when a new carrier is trying to come in and quote you a program. Essentially, all they have is a census, which includes the age and gender, no names, of course. And from that, they can use their book of business, and based on their book of business in the Kansas City metro area, they come up with a rate. And from that, they provide information for insuring this program. One of the comments we had when we first met was, do we want to look at a self-funded or a partially self-funded type program? I'm a fan of that, quite candidly, but the sad part is I don't know where your claims are at, so I'm afraid to tell you where to go on that end of it, how to fund it correctly. So we went out on a fully insured basis. What are we going to have out there? And we received some quotes back. We did receive declinations from both Cigna and Humana, and the reason being that they already write you through an associational trust. United Healthcare did provide a program. Aetna gave me an indication. It was quite high. They asked me point blank what I thought the renewal from MPR would be. I said, based on what I can find out from them, based on what we've seen in prior years, I estimated about a 13% renewal is what I would bank on. And they were way above that, what the indication was. And then Blue Cross came in as well on a fully insured basis. Since they write a majority of public entities in the area, that we thought that might be a good alternative to consider as well. The quotes came back, as you can see, based on just the total numbers. NPR came back extremely strong. Overall, based on your enrollment, it's a 5.43% rate increase. Based on what we're looking at here, it would be shared by both the city and the employee at the same percentage level. So everybody would see that at cost increase. One of the benefits of NPR, it's kind of a one-stop shop. They do all the marketing for you all. They do all the administration of the plans. They do all the help with the enrollment through your HR department. They do the rate development internally. They coordinate all the wellness programs through your HR department. So they're kind of a one-stop shop, and they also do COBRA administration. So there's a lot more to the service package than just buying an insurance program. So if we would have left, obviously we would have addressed a lot of those unique issues as well. Also, just as an FYI, it's in my information, but the dental came back with 0 rate increase, as did the vision plan. So that was very competitive. One of the comments we always have with a associational trust is, I guess it's an old statement we came up with years ago, it's know thy partner. Because it is assessable. If it does poorly, you can be assessed. Based on my understanding, they have done so a couple times over their history, and that's about a Eric, you're going to have to tell me, probably 23 to 25-year history, maybe longer. So they run it very close to the vest. One of the beauties of it is that they're large. You're a nice size employer, but you're not extremely large. So they have what we call the law of large numbers and more in their favor when it comes to insurance. And that's a good thing. It doesn't really make it cheaper, it makes it more predictable. And that's why you want to see the modest changes through life with just small dabs based on your experience. One of the things that we got whenever we went for the RFP, it's a question I always ask, is the second year not to exceed number. I didn't think they'd even address that one. They said, yes, we would guarantee not to exceed 9% the second year. And that's with health trend at 6.2% just for medical costs. I think that's a pretty fair, at least you have that in your back pocket. Doesn't mean it's what you're going to get. It might be lower, but that would be worst case scenario. So that was a good win, I think. There were several issues that we talked about with Eric and the Human Resource Department. It's like everything with an association of trusts, you kind of have to keep your thumb on what's going on. I think they're doing a really good job as far as their finances. One of the concerns I have is, based on the information we received, we want to make sure that they actually put money in reserve for future so they don't have to assess. And they're using a very large consulting firm called Mercer that has made plans, and based on their rate increases that they're projecting for us and others, they think they're still going to be able to build their reserves up and have much more significant reserves by June 30th of this year as well as next year. And that was very positive news to me, because I always worry about somebody coming in with a low number and the second year really thumping you with something or sending you an assessment. So I think NPR has done a very nice job regarding that. Couple things to monitor going forward. I think they're being pretty creative regarding some of their wellness initiatives. I think the city is very much aware of it and will take advantage of those for your employees. Obviously, the best risk transfer tool is to not have the losses, so you can adjust the claims going forward and keep your claims experience going forward low. But one of the things they are implementing, which I was excited to see, is that they're starting to rank their member entities by essentially 4 categories going forward. This has not been firmed up yet, so this is an indication that I think they're really creating something positive for their trust. If you're average, and they told me you all were average, and that's a pretty wide range of average, which premiums are versus what they paid out in claims and administrative cost. You get their renewal rate based on their projected losses. In this case, the PPO is 6.9%, et cetera. But if you were better than average, you would actually get a % credit. Well, that's good. So where am I? I want to get the % credit. So I think they're working through those stumbling blocks of how they can keep you in there, keep you engaged, and also control the cost. On the flip side of that, if you're over about 109%, and they did outline some of that information, you could probably have to pay a % more. So instead of getting a 6.9, you might get a 7.9% rate increase. So I think I'm actually in favor of that. If you're on the other side of that, you probably don't like to hear that. But as a trust, it's probably a good idea for a trust to at least be able to manage their membership that way. So I think they've got a lot of good things going for them. We were really hopeful. One of my jobs, this is kind of tacky to say, but my job is to try and beat the incumbent. I want to see what we can do to get you the very best that we can. Based on the information we received, based on the discussions we've had, based on the pricing and the model going forward, I think NPR is still a solid choice for the city of Blue Springs.
Are there any questions of Mr. Charlesworth? Any questions from the council? If not, thank you for coming and thank you for that report.
We thank you for being here today. Thank you.
We have another presentation by the EDC. Mr. Esmond, I guess you are chairman, so you're up on now. I saw Mr. Sterner walking across the parking lot, so he's probably out in the lobby someplace.
Thank you for that reassurance, Mr. Mayor. The sweat level was starting to rise. And thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council, for having us here again. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. I want to thank you for including us on the agenda this evening. As part of our most recent 3-year agreement, we'll be here twice a year to report out on activities, and so you'll have the opportunity to see us again sometime in the fall. As you know, the EDC is a partnership with the private sector investment in which that money is used to leverage the city's investment in the organization, mission, and work of the economic development in Blue Springs. Our organization is governed by 6 board members. They're selected by the mayor and city council and appointed by the city. We have 6 investors that are nominated and voted upon by the investor members, and 3 seats that are filled by representatives of various city institutions. Historically, our investor members have grown from 26 when we became an organization, kind of leaps and steps to 40 members, 55, and now 65 investor members that bringing a total private sector investment of $170,000 into the annual budget. We are projected, I'm told by city staff, that by the end of year 2014 we'll have 70 investor members, so we're continuing to grow. Most recent membership activity by the board has been in assessing our investor levels, scaling up investments of certain members in line with the peer group, as well as the ongoing activity of identifying new community investors that we can take advantage of and benefit from the work of the EDC in the community. The Board of Directors is not just given the responsibility of finding new members, but really we have active committees, task forces that are the feet on the street, manpower of the EDC, and I wanted to touch base on a few of those and activities that are going on at this point. Missouri Innovation Park may be the highest profile development opportunity that we have, and as opportunities for development in the MIP have surfaced, the EDC Board of Directors is seeking, and we've asked for council direction and input. This is very important as opportunities come up. We know that there's places for some of these businesses on the Parkway. We really want to have the vision and support of the City Council as we move forward in those areas. You know that we engaged more partners at one stage and brought them in. They have reported out to the Board of Directors, and many members of the City Council and staff were present at the retreat in which that happened. We're looking for possibly engaging further consulting, whether it's from more partners or another group, to give us some direction of the assessment and recommendations for the market activity in that area. As project activity develops, we'd like to identify what are the alternatives and options to make the most of the opportunities in the Adams Dairy Parkway area. Another area that we've been active and have been supportive is in Downtown Alive. Also, the Grow Blue Springs organization, which is a group that we nurtured and fostered from its inception here in Blue Springs, supporting entrepreneurs in the community. That group has continued to expand, has been finding energy with collaboration with groups from Lee Summit and Independence also. Activities continue throughout the calendar year. Our Growth Visioning Task Force has been freshly invigorated by the opportunities that are coming on board. This group is now meeting once every 3 weeks to examine every possibility of space and land use for new and existing businesses to locate or relocate and grow in Blue Springs, mainly focused on light industrial, light manufacturing, particularly but not exclusively on redevelopment and the 40 Highway Corridor. I'm pleased to be able to talk a little bit about our most recent project announcement, the Xceligent Corporation, which moved in on the Walnut Street property in the Adams Dairy Parkway area. We did hold our VIP open house on February 26th. The mayor, many elected officials, community leaders were there to attend. The purpose of that event was to welcome Xceligent to the community and also to reinforce EDC's message. Companies such as theirs are the reason why the EDC exists. We are purposed to facilitation, bringing new business attraction and development to Blue Springs, and also supporting the growth of existing business. We're not finished with our work with Xceligent. As they continue to grow out the potential in Blue Springs, we're going to help them with their future building space and adding jobs in our community. There are other existing Blue Springs companies that are on the doorstep of growth and relocation, and we consider keeping those companies and those jobs in Blue Springs to be a major priority. Those things are happening right now, so we'll continue to look for your help and support. We'll take questions in a while, but if you would permit me to introduce Brian Starner, who is, thank goodness, here, and then we'll answer questions later. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Esman.
I guess we're more in this last televised event from this facility.
Mr. Starr.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and as Bill set a context for what we're trying to do, particularly with our new 3-year contract, we're trying to get in front of you at least twice a year. And as we do this, it really is meant to be both a little bit formal as well as informal, open up for some questions. And we think members of the public, as we've been in operation since 2007, maybe have questions from time to time about what the EDC does or what the EDC is. So I'm going to kind of pick up where Bill left off. He gave a little bit of an overview of some general things happening with the organization. And what I'd like to do is do a little bit deeper dive, recognizing that I can be long-winded. I'm going to limit myself to about 5 minutes, so I'm going to be throwing a lot of information at you. I also have handouts. Yeah, there you go. Mayor's got the gavel. So just a few facts, just interesting things, and then diving into the organization itself. I recently went to an Integra Realty real estate seminar, and they've been doing these about 7 years, and they do really a broad spectrum analysis of what's happening in the marketplace. And a lot of interesting findings, particularly where we've been the last several years with the economy. And if you take a look at just one facet with what's happening with logistics and the logistic parks that are in Kansas City, Gardner, the old Richards Gebaur Air Force Base, there was a study that was cited at that park, and in recognition that we now have about 6% vacancy in the light industrial market, it's even less than that in Blue Springs. It effectively is no vacancy, because when people search, and we have been helping them search for space, we really don't have anything that's available in Blue Springs. And the space that's often available in Kansas City is so old it does not meet the height spec that they have. Their projections are, as they build out demand for these logistics park, is that over the next 20 to 25 years, there will be 60 million square feet of light industrial space built in Kansas City. To give you an idea, that's basically the entire marketplace today. So there's a strong foundation of this industrial demand that's out there. You know, as we look at, as an example, what's happening within the region, I was just talking to somebody today from a neighboring community, and the growth and development of what's happening at the Bannister Mall complex, 15,000 jobs. We have the announcement a couple weeks ago, 2,000 jobs for Burns McDonnell at their headquarters off of Ward Parkway. The I-470 and I-70 corridor coming into eastern Jackson County is really well positioned for growth and development, particularly on the residential front, to support those new employees coming in. And we're looking at putting together a regional effort with our neighboring cities to help promote and brand that as a corridor for development. These things are really done in the context of working with my staff, and to give a little bit of an overview and summary, I do business recruitment, business development, and redevelopment projects. Cher Lopez, Cher, if you raise your hand. Oh, okay. Teresa Evans. Teresa's new on our staff. Cher does investor relations, marketing, and communications for us, and managing the investor side. And Teresa does existing business. And one of the reasons we wanted to bring Teresa on board is that's an area of core focus and expertise that she has. And as the market begins to really reassert itself and grow, and we see that demand for manufacturing space go up, we want to be in a position when it comes to Teresa visiting with our local employers to not miss any bases when it comes to trying to get in front of those local companies. And I'm proud to say that today, several of you have been in meetings where we do have local companies that have space demands. And some of this was set up as an identified target when Cher was out doing business retention visits, in some cases as far back as 2009. As Bill mentioned, we have lots of initiatives going on in the EDC. We have the Missouri Innovation Park that we continue to pay close attention and focused efforts on. We have Missouri Innovation Park Incorporated, which is the entity that was worked through to assemble the land and convey activity to the city for the purchase. We have development and redevelopment projects, anything from property along 40 Highway through the I-70 corridor, looking at projects that would fit the post office, the Oaks at Woods Chapel. Had some recent inquiries related to the Lafarge site, Xceligent, including expansion for the Xceligent project that could be in the Innovation Park, and then 2 local manufacturers. All of that being said, besides the project side, focusing on Grow Blue Springs, where we have small business and entrepreneurial effort, is very, very important. It's important to downtown, let alone important to the rest of the community. And as we go forward, there's a big effort on emphasizing community outreach. And when you look at the size of the board, you appoint 6 of the board members, 6 are elected from membership. And then we have appointees from the school district, the Chamber of Commerce, the fire district, and then we have a past chair, that's Lyle Shaver. Lyle's in the audience today, and so is Chief Westerman. I don't know if we've missed anybody, Bill. But all these individuals play a role on task forces. I know Chris has been attending some of them recently, Jeff has in the past, and all of you are welcome to do so, Dale. Kent and Susan, as well as Ron. As we do this going forward, there is a lot of development activity, and a report that I was sharing with Eric on Friday. I think we just need to be at a position where you all, as you've really directed me the last year or so to bring a deal to you, we need to be ready to do those deals. And I think we're a little bit away from that, but we're getting close, particularly as it relates to the Missouri Innovation Park. There are some sites that are available for redevelopment, but quite honestly, in some cases, the demand from the company is too great for the site, and we're going to struggle to be able to fit them in their Phase 2 growth and expansion. So we're going to continue to work on that. And I'll just wrap up that the work of the EDC is done through a contract with the city, and this is done over a 3-year period. You have the opportunity to review it on an annual basis. You have the opportunity to give input. You have the opportunity to work through your representatives on the EDC board. And in addition to that, I think you have the opportunity through active participation in the many task forces and committees to direct us on those things that are important to you individually. I'd stand for questions.
Are there any questions of Mr. Starner or Esmond from the council? I can attest that there's always something going on. As mayor, I serve not only on the EDC board, but I serve on the executive committee and the MIP board. So I spend a lot of time at the EDC office. And I know that there are a lot of good volunteers that dedicate themselves to doing it. And they do a lot with the three plus a part-time person trying to run that operation. And it's, the demands and challenges are great. We want to be able to have Blue Springs as a place to where you can live, you can work, and you can play. We want to keep you here as much as we can. So we appreciate all the work that you're doing, and Mr. Johnson has some comments he'd like to make too.
Yes, Your Honor. Very brief. I'll be less than 5 minutes. And I am appreciating over these past couple of weeks all the good work that our former Deputy City Administrator Todd Pelham was doing in economic development and working with Brian and his team and everyone else. We are definitely seeing an uptick in our community in terms of economic development activity across the board, ranging from new residential, and if you take a drive out south into District 3, you're going to be excited to see some areas all the way close to Colburn Road where there are now new houses under construction. We appreciate people like Mr. Nigro who are here, who are taking, seizing an opportunity to look at redeveloping properties, repurposing those properties, and reinvesting in our community. It's exciting stuff. If you go out to Courtyard Marriott Hotel, it's under, if you go in the lobby, you'll see it's being renovated right now, and they're bringing that property up to a 2014, 2015 standard. We're reinvesting in our conference center to make it more appealing and attractive. It's almost 14 and a half years old. And I know through working with Brian, we have active economic activity at Woods Chapel as a result of the improved infrastructure, as a result of the opportunities with the approved TIF plan that's in place. We have an active communication, as you know, going on right now at 40 and 7 with a very important part of our community. We continue to see Adams Dairy Landing. I drove by there today and I saw the sign up for Five Guys. I realized Five Guys, while it's a small space, nonetheless, it's something that our market and our community has desired to see come in here. And I know that Mr. Starner and the Economic Development Corporation are very active and very engaged in all of those deals. We're excited that, I'm excited that Brian and his team have been engaging local communities who are now facing the need and the opportunity to grow their companies organically and to either look at expanding their current facilities or to go to new sites. And I think we're fortunate in that we have some property that we have that provides us with opportunities that maybe we didn't realize or we didn't see 3 or 4 years ago that we now have today. So I'm excited about the work that the EDC is doing. They're very active, and you're going to continue to see over the next 6 months, year and a half, a lot of activity. So prepare yourselves.
Certainly there is a lot of activity going on, some things that we can't even talk about. I know Red Development has some things working right now that we will be talking about later on. Meyer Construction is putting a building up on Coronado across from the shopping center next to Arby's. I don't know if you noticed that, there are trailers there, so they're putting an office in. So there's just a lot of things going on right now. So buckle your seat belts or don't buckle them, whatever is comfortable for you, because we're on the move. So thank you for coming and making that presentation to the council, unless the council has some questions of you.
I would just share, Mayor, that I have handouts that I've talked from,
Okay.
since I didn't get to cover my full 15 minutes. And I
if you-
wouldn't ask for your indulgence, as well as a letter that's really a follow-up next step for your consideration and discussion on how do we go forward with the Missouri Innovation Park. That question is really best put to you. That's a property that's owned by the city. We're here to advise. It's not our property. And we've played this consulting role for the last several years, and we want to continue to be cognizant of the fact that it's your asset. We'll give you advice, we'll assist you, we'll represent that property, but we do need direct input from the council and city staff on how they want to move forward. So what I will do, if you just want to take a copy of each one and pass it on.
All right, thank you, Mr. Starner and Mr. Esman, for your presentation, and also fellow board members for being in attendance.
I also want to thank Mr. Esman and Chief Westerman and Lyle Shaver for being here today and my staff. We couldn't do this work with all of them, and your help and participation. Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to mayoral announcements. Just in case, and I know the council picked up on this, but some people in the audience may not have picked up on this, and certainly people that are watching on Cable TV 7, when we approved the consent agenda, there are two items I want to highlight. One is we approved the appointment of members to the Human Relations Commission. And that's going to be taken off here very shortly. Chief McCoy is the staff liaison, and I will be actively involved in getting that up and getting it moving, because it's something that has been much needed for a community of our size, not having one of that. We've been lucky not to have had run into issues by not having one. So we approved that tonight. You approved that. The other thing is you approved the construction contract for the building renovation with Fogle Anderson tonight. And I'm very pleased. Mr. Phil Bartolotto, who had set up, is a Blue Springs resident. And so we're very pleased to do that, and he has done a lot of good work with the school district and a lot of the school district buildings. He's been the construction company on that as well, so just kind of a highlight that. Then I saw a lot of camera shots being done, because this is the last televised meeting of the city council in this building as it sits today.
In this room.
In this room. This building is being vacated, so Fogle Anderson can take off and start construction on it on March 27th. You might want to bring your lawn chair and maybe from a distance watch the water tower being removed. That will be a nostalgic moment for some of us that's been around a long time. And you identify downtown by, well, look for that blue water tower. And I can tell you some stories about the water tower, but I won't tell you about it tonight.
You weren't here when they put it up, were you?
No, I wasn't here when I put it up. But I was
you'll be
here
here when they take it down.
But I was here when we wanted to put a specific name on the water tower.
Oh, okay. No.
So there's a story behind that one too. But anyway, no, I've been here 40 years, and I think that water tower went up a little bit before I
Okay,
got
all right,
here.
all right.
The other thing that I'm very pleased with is we like to send out accolades to our school district and things that they're doing, and people in general in Blue Springs that have success, you know, by having the football championship at the Blue Springs High School Wildcats this year. But today, in New York City, the Blue Springs South Marching Jaguars were in the New York City St. Patrick's Day Parade. The mayor didn't show up, but they were there. And they performed, and that's a beautiful thing, because in addition, the Golden Regiment Band played in the Rose Bowl in January. So Blue Springs continue to be a city that have a lot of talent, and certainly showcased beyond our boundaries both from a statewide and a national level. So we want to continue to congratulate people that do well to make us the community that we are. Also, March 28th, we're hoping for good weather, and I've had cold weather where I'm bundled up, and I've had weather where I can be in lighter clothing, but on Friday the 28th is March with the Mayor, a brisk 1 mile march around downtown, starting over right here at City Hall and marching over to Walnut and coming down another street, back on Main Street, so at noon. So if you have an opportunity, if you want to come march with me, and we normally have some mascots here, and we'll have the drum line, and we'll have the ROTC, and we'll just have a good time, and at the end of the race, we'll have some water for you to drink so you can get hydrated. So we invite you to come participate in that. The next council meeting will be on April 7th in the Municipal Annex. And for those that don't know where the Municipal Annex is, it's the old lumber yard. For those that's been around a long time. We took a tour of that, and that is really coming together very nicely, thanks to Dennis Doval and his crew with the Parks Department. They're working diligently to put that in place, and it's really going to be a nice facility for us to be able to have our meetings along with the Planning Commission meetings for the next 18 months. And Municipal Court will be there. So for the next 18 months, you will not see our faces on Cable TV 7, but there will be an audio version of that that you can access on the city's website. Now, we will move to Thoughts to Ponder. We're going to do two again tonight, since it's the last televised meeting. One is from former council member and State Representative Jeannie Lauer. We shared one of hers last time, and this is her second one she shared. It's by Zig Ziglar, and I quote, "Sometimes adversity is what you need to face in order to become successful," end quote. The next one is from a plaque that was on Eloise's desk for a number of years, and I happened to be sitting at her desk, and I saw this little plaque there, and I said, well, let me see what this plaque says. And this is what it says. It's by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and I quote, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us," end quote. Very profound statement, something that we can take into account and live by. That concludes the mayoral announcements, and we have a visitor's appearance form by Mr. Tony Reisinger. And Tony, if you would come up, he wants to talk about the All-Star High School football game. Most of you know Tony. Tony is one of the voices when you're watching Blue Springs football. He's on the sidelines. And I like to see Tony say, back up to you.
Yeah, back up to you, Dad.
Yeah. So is he saying that to you, Councilman Carter, when he's saying back up to you?
I hope so.
Okay.
Anyways, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for this opportunity to present this to the council. My company, Vision Sports, we've had the privilege, and I do say privilege, it's an honor to be a partner of the Blue Springs School District, coming up for our 18th season of doing Blue Springs and Blue Springs South High School football on TV and radio. From that, many great things have come about. My other company, Sideliner Sports, we've expanded, that we now partner with 18 total schools, spreading the good word, positive stuff that's going on that are done with our schools, not just athletically, but also academically and in other activities. The reason why I'm here tonight, myself and my business partner with Vision Sports, Brian Johnson, we are also the co-executive directors of the Greater Kansas City Football Coaches Association, which is a group of 100 high schools here in the Kansas City area, it's like a big fraternity. They do great things. When we took over the association 7 years ago, each year they award scholarships to 22 athletes on both sides of the state line. When we took over, they awarded 6. We got a local company, the McCarthy Auto Group, to underwrite it, and now 22 student athletes receive $1,000 scholarships from a Blue Springs-based company, and we like to keep things in Blue Springs. With the Football Coaches Association, I can tell you that pretty much, I'd say 95% of our dollars that we spend for what we do around the area are spent here in Blue Springs. All of our printing is done here in Blue Springs. We've hooked up a little sports shop here with the Greater Kansas City Football Coach Association. Now, hundreds of thousands of dollars of business from outside of Blue Springs, from other schools come through Blue Springs, which are taxed through Blue Springs. And we get our plaques made at MVP Awards and more, Zarda, Rancho Grande, you name it. We believe in Blue Springs. The reason why I'm here tonight is that every year we host an All-Star game, Missouri versus Kansas. And with other high school events, All-Star games are what they are. They're All-Star games. There may be 200 people in the stands. But the football game that's hosted every year draws about 3,000 fans in the middle of June. And the one thing we know that with Blue Springs, some people may disagree with me, okay, but the biggest passion of Blue Springs is high school football. That's what brings this community together. And you stole my thunder a little bit ago talking about the Cats and the Jags in the last 3 state championships. It's the perfect place for high school football. And what I'm here to ask tonight of the council to consider is we've already made arrangements as the directors of the Football Coach Association. We worked hard and low on both sides of the state line to find a great place for an all-star game. Normally we go to Kansas one year, Missouri the next side. When we go to Missouri, normally we don't have a facility charge for the facilities. When we try to go to Kansas, normally they try to rent us the stadium. They would rent us the stadium for about $2,600, $2,700, and we're a nonprofit organization, and that cut into our revenue. So based on our success here at Blue Springs, when we came with the dilemma, we went to work. The Blue Springs School District asked should we throw our hat into the ring for the All-Star game. And so my partner and I, Brian Johnson, went to work. We have some local sponsors here who are excited about having the All-Star game here. And why I'm here today is I'm asking the council and the city to consider investing $1,000 per year over the next 4 years to host the All-Star game here. What I believe is those 3,000 people that come here, they'll buy some gas here, they'll dine here, okay? But it's also, these are people coming from all across the metro. Some of them will be putting their toe in the water the first time to Blue Springs, okay? We know here at Blue Springs that we're the high school football capital of the region, okay? But, hosting this event here, and it's going to be here, okay? It basically, Blue Springs is going to be in the spotlight. And it's really going to be known as the home of high school football here in Kansas City and the area. So basically, how this works is how this will generate revenue outside of the people coming here. The booster clubs at the respective schools, they get to work the concession stands, and there's also a program where they get to sell tickets in advance and make $2 per ticket. And so probably this year, the Blue Springs Booster Club will earn anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 just working the concession stands. Okay? What the city will get out of this right here, being a partner with ours, is we will include you, and we will promote this throughout the city on TV and radio here locally on BSSC TV. All my 18 Sonic Locker Room shows every week will have a commercial promoting it, but everyone will be here in All-Star Game, Blue Springs, Blue Springs, Blue Springs. So basically what I'm asking of the Blue Springs, the city of Blue Springs, is to become a partner along to, whereas right now we have 3, and we're going to get many more sponsors. Lunar Bowl is already on board. We're going to host what we're going to do is we're going to make this an event, okay? On Wednesday night before the All-Star Game, we're going to have a Little League Coaches Clinic, where Little League coaches from here in Blue Springs and Fort Osage, Grand Valley, and Oak Grove, they can come here to Lunar Bowl, and all the high school coaches will be doing clinics for them. And we'll be getting the Little League involved. We'll probably doing something where if the Little Leaguers wear their jerseys to the game, they may get in for $1. Okay, so this is really going to be an event, and really we're going to put Blue Springs in the spotlight. And with all of our marketing promotion that we do, it's be presented by, and the City of Blue Springs will be included in that on our website, kcprepfootball.org. we will put a link to the City of Blue Springs on there, naming it the home of the All-Star Game, so people can click on that and find out more about Blue Springs. And one thing that we deliver passion. And we're passionate, even though I'm a resident of Lee Summit, okay, I live in the Blue Springs School District. That was the reason, the only parameter I put to my wife, when we move, we have to stay in the Blue Springs School District, is that Blue Springs is special to us, and anything and everything we can do to help the city, help the economy, we want to do. And so what I'm asking is to see if you consider over the next 4 years, each year, participating at a $1,000 level to the Greater Kansas City Football Coaches Association, which is a nonprofit organization. The monies that we raise is to improve the quality of high school football. If a school that's not as lucky as a Blue Springs, that maybe an inner city school like an Interscholastic League school or a KCK school needs some weight equipment or something like that, that's where our money goes to. And in addition, like I say, it's scholarships, but it's just a good thing. I'll talk about it all day, but I'm just passionate about it. Just would love for the Blue Springs, the City of Blue Springs, to consider being a partner, because what we're going to do is after 2 years, we're going to open this up, because this is an event. We're going to let other communities, bid for it, but we want to stay here, selfishly, we want to stay here in Blue Springs, and it'll be a 4-year home, hopefully longer.
Any questions, council? Seeing none. To me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, we've supported the bringing a soccer tournament. The first time it got outside of the St. Louis area, it came to Blue Springs. And so certainly we're leaders in that area, and I don't really see an objection from the council in doing that. But it's a yearly allocation or appropriation we'd have to do, because we can't commit future councils. But certainly I don't see anyone that would oppose bringing that kind of spotlight to Blue Springs. So I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. And certainly, you're welcome to come back to Blue Springs.
Well, we want to come back, or we want to stay?
No, I'm building new houses.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about houses. Just planting the seed, food for thought.
Yep.
Okay, yes.
Your Honor, we'll work out the details behind the scenes here with Mr. Reisinger, make sure we get it all squared away. It is very similar, in my opinion, to the arrangement we have with the school district and the 3-year commitment that the council made to support the state soccer championship for the boys and girls. And certainly staff is supportive and thinks it's a good program, and we'll move forward to make it happen.
If I have one more thing.
Sure.
What we're going to do with this here is that this game is broadcast by Metro Sports or Time Warner Cable Sports live, and we were going to work with the school districts and each of the school districts. If you remember how Fox did with Kansas City during the All-Star Game, so we're going to promote each high school. They have their own little commercials, and we'd love to run a commercial about Blue Springs that would air, because basically we provide them with commercials so they could air a positive commercial about Blue Springs, so we would just be touting Blue Springs.
We have just a person that can provide that, Ms. Kim Nakahota, our communications director.
All right. Thank you, council. Thank you, Mayor.
All right,
Appreciate
thank you
it.
for coming and
Thank you.
presenting that to us. We're certainly supportive of it. I don't have any other visitors' appearance forms. Unless there is something else to come before the council, I accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, aye. Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.